Is everything we know about obesity wrong? That's the claim of a new HuffPost article that dropped this week. So in this video, I'm going to share some of my journey with weight and share my thoughts on this article. Stay tuned.
Indy Jones, back with a trendy flow. I'm still trying to find my voice in this hip scenario. Here we go.
Yo, what's going on? My name is Ruslan, hip-hop artist, creative entrepreneur. I run a small mom-and-pop shop boutique label called King's Dream Entertainment. The purpose of that label and this channel is to encourage, empower, inspire people to live out the King's dream, God's dream for their life. Basically, live your life up to its fullest potential. And so my journey with weight has been an interesting one. I've been a full-time artist for a little over 3 years, and one of the things that was funny is once I made the decision to go full-time, I really thought that this was going to be my opportunity to work out more. This was going to be my opportunity to get in shape and all those different things. And actually the opposite thing happened. I started being full-time June 2015, and I actually have a vlog that I shot when we went to Legacy Conference. And I was in pretty good shape right before quitting my job and going full-time with music. Now, that fall, I went on tour, and I came back from tour the heaviest I had ever been. And my wife thought it'd be a good idea for us to take family photos for Levi's first birthday. And so here is me at my heaviest weight I've ever been. I think I'm about 205, 210 pounds right here. I was not a happy camper. Going on tour really took a lot out of me, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And I came back substantially heavier, the heaviest I've ever been. And recently, within the last year or so, I've really gone on this fitness journey to get as in shape as I could possibly be, to my genetic potential. How in shape can I possibly be? And so right now, I did a video a couple days ago talking about our Whole30 journey. I think I'm on day 18, 19 of no sugar, greens, lean meats, and that's pretty much it, and a lot of fruit. That's where I'm currently at. Now, earlier this week, I stumbled across this article on Facebook. One of my good friends, Bradford Davis, shout out to Bradford, all the way in New York, posted this article. I was like, man, let me check this thing out. Started reading it, and the article was by Huffington Post. Everything you know about obesity is wrong. And I was like, I don't know a whole lot about obesity, but man, I know I've struggled with weight, and I'm naturally a thin guy, but I've definitely gotten real big. Let me check this article out. And I tell you what, man, this was a really tough article to get through. It shares multiple stories of different people that have been just completely belittled, bullied, fat shamed in a very, very unethical way, from family members to teachers to doctors, like to just get a little glimpse of some of the stuff that people who are heavy go through. And I've had people in my life that are heavy, family members, friends, close friends, and I've never really understood or thought about it from their perspective. Like, I know being heavy is not easy, and I've never been like that heavy, but I've also had a lot of close friends that have completely transformed their lives, and I've seen people lose hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Specifically, back in the breaks days, those of you guys that go back with us, one of our producers, Nathan Soul Trainer, was our bass player, our producer. I think he lost well over 100 pounds. And I was like, man, that was super inspiring at the time. And right now, one of my friends, Cicely, shout out to the homegirl Cicely, she's on a weight loss journey. She's lost over 100 pounds, and she's killing it. Y'all should follow Cicely on Instagram. And so I've seen all sides of the spectrum, but I've never really considered what it's like to be obese. And I think even a lot of our gauges of how we measure what's overweight or obese are kind of off. For example, a standard gauge is your BMI, your body mass index. Where do you fall on the BMI? So I just punched in my weight and height. I'm 5'10", 10 and a half. I'm 184 pounds right now, which is actually really good for me. And I punched in my weight, punched in my height, and I was like, let me check this out. Hopped online, and I found out that my BMI is 26, right? A healthy BMI is between 18 to 25. My BMI is 26. 26 to 30 is considered overweight, and I believe 30 and up is considered obese. So I'm technically overweight, which I think is ridiculous. Like, I think that's crazy that I would be considered overweight, considering that y'all saw the before photo I posted. Like, this is the lightest I've been in a very, very long time. I think our gauges of how we measure weight and obesity and all those things are kind of skewed, because what they didn't factor in was my body fat percentage. So I may be 184 pounds, but my body fat percentage is actually low for someone that's 184 pounds. And also the way we treat people who are heavy in society, the way we shame them, is just not right. And I don't think that shame is a good tool to get people to do anything positive for themselves. Like, I think if someone's struggling with any area, whether it's pornography, smoking, whatever you want to call it, I don't think shaming somebody and making them feel worse about the thing they already know there's a struggle for them or they're insecure about is a healthy way or a positive way or an effective way to get people to move the needle. And in this article, man, it's so sad. The stories about how doctors treat these patients, they offered up a lot of really good information, allegorical information nevertheless, but there was a lot of good information. There's some science in it that I appreciated. But there were a couple problematic things that really rubbed me the wrong way. And so I wanted to unpack some of this in this video. Here's a few quotes for you guys. It goes on to say that for 60 years, doctors have known two things. And one of the things is that diets don't work. Not keto, not paleo, not Atkins. Diets just do not work. Most people who diet end up gaining the weight back. Now, this is true. Dieting does not work if you're looking at it as a diet. I don't look at my nutrition plan as a diet. I don't plan to just eat this way for now. Oh, I'm doing it for right now. No, the way I eat my foods and the foods that I eat are something that I plan to eat for the rest of my life because it's a plan. And a lot of times when we look at diets or we look at nutrition plans, people always ask me this, like, well, how many cheat days do you get? I'm like, I don't get any cheat days. I don't really get any cheat meals. You guys that really know me know I have a huge affinity for donuts. Last summer, I had a really unhealthy relationship with donuts. I was eating donuts like 5-6 times a week. We got Peterson's Donut Corner in Escondido, 24-hour donuts, the best donuts you'll ever have. And so right now I'm doing Whole30. I haven't had a donut in probably over 2 months. And even when I am off of Whole30 and I could have sugar again, I'm still not going to eat donuts. Maybe once a month. I'll have a cheat meal once a month, maybe once every other month. But donuts aren't in my plan. But you know what is in my plan? Healthy, dense, whole food, negative calorie type foods. Those are the things that are in my plan. Those are the things that are keeping me full. So yes, diets don't work. Shout out to all the people doing a keto diet. That's awesome. You're getting results. But be careful, because what may happen after that, you might gain the weight back. So just be careful with the dieting. Even that word implies that it's just for a season. And can you do keto for the rest of your life? Can you eat no carbohydrates and high fats for the rest of your life? Probably not. But you know what I can do for the rest of my life is the plan that I'm currently on, which is like paleo-esque with under 25 grams of sugar a day, and then a little bit of dairy, a little bit of cheese here and there. I could eat that way for the rest of my life. I could eat fish, I can eat broccoli, I could eat sweet potatoes, I can eat kale, I could eat spinach, I can eat all those foods. Nuts, I love all those foods. And I can eat that way for the rest of my life. I don't need to go on and off any type of diet. Okay, another thing I found problematic with this article is it parallels weight loss and being fat to cigarettes and smoking. It says that smoking is a behavior and being fat is not, which is kind of crazy. Like, how can you say that smoking, which we all know is unhealthy for you, is a behavior, but being fat, which is usually caused by overeating or eating the wrong types of foods, is not a behavior? Now, not everybody's the same. We all have different triggers. We all have different things that make us struggle. We all have different things that we're wrestling with. So some people are more predisposed to having addiction, to struggling with addiction, struggling with maybe anxiety or mental illness. And nicotine actually decreases your level of cortisol. Nicotine helps level out people. So back in the day, people always used to say, oh, I have my nerves. My mom used to say, my nerves are bad. It's because nicotine lowers your cortisol level. So some people who have higher cortisol, which is the hormone in your body that creates stress, nicotine lowers that. And other people are just maybe naturally thicker and heavier. Maybe you have a thyroid issue. That's different. But to paint broad strokes and to say that nicotine is a choice, but being fat is not a choice on a macro level, I think it's just inaccurate. I think we have to be responsible for the things that we are putting in our bodies, regardless. I'm going to give you guys some tips and some science to help you with this, but we have to first start and be responsible and say, hey, whether I'm smoking, whether I'm getting high, whether I'm consuming too much alcohol, whether I'm consuming too much food, I have to be responsible. And those of us that are Bible-believing Christians, we know what the scriptures say about gluttony, but we know how in North America we conveniently overlook gluttony and we pass that on. So it's okay for your pastor or one of your leaders to be overweight, but man, if they smoke cigarettes, or man, if they have a drink or whatever, all of a sudden that's more taboo than being overweight. And I don't think that's fair. I think we have to address all these things on a level playing field. And here's the deal. Those things are just symptoms. There's deeper issues. When I was overeating, when I was addicted to sugar, when I was having donuts all the time, I had deeper issues. I was wrestling with deeper things than just the consumption of sugar. When people wrestle with alcohol, it's usually used as a sedative for something else, for some of the pain that they're feeling. And I appreciate that this article actually ended in a good place. It basically ends with saying that diet, not by fad diet, but like what we're consuming, is the leading cause of death in America. It's higher than gun violence and car accidents combined, which is crazy if you think about it. But it's not about how much we're eating, because we're actually consuming less calories than we did in 2003 by and large, but it's what we're eating. A lot of times people will tell you if you want to lose weight, you just got to keep track of your calories. You got to count your calories. Well, yes and no, but not all calories are created equal. Meaning if you're having a 250 calorie Snickers bar, it's completely different what that is doing to your body, to your hormones, than 250 calories of kale. Calories are not all created equal. And guess what? The kale will actually make you more full. About a week ago, I did a video on leptin and self-control and killing lust by getting more leptin in your diet. Leptin is a hormone in a lot of our foods that makes you feel full. So foods like broccoli, foods like kale actually make you feel more full, and they're more dense foods, meaning that to get 250 calories of kale is a lot of kale versus getting 250 calories of a dessert. You're going to want more dessert, and you're going to get another 250 calories of the dessert. And so what we're eating is super, super important. What we're eating is more important than how much we're eating. Also, starving yourself is never good. Man, this article is so heartbreaking because it talks about so many people who keep starving themselves, and then they binge eat, or maybe they don't binge eat. Don't starve yourself, guys. Don't starve yourself. Again, for the most part, by and large, if you don't have some type of thyroid issue, you can actually eat more foods, more higher quality foods that will keep you full, keep you nourished, keep you excited, keep you feeling good without having to starve yourself. That even this month, I cut out my yerba mates. They have sugar in them, and so I've stopped drinking my calories. That's kind of a really simple tip, like don't drink your calories. So I'm not drinking my calories. I have my tea, no sugar in it. I drink my LaCroix and my bubblies, no sugar in it, nothing like that. And that stuff keeps me full. I'm not drinking my calories, but I find myself, as I do keep track of my calories, is I have so much more to intake. I could eat so many more carbs. I could eat so many more vegetables. I could eat so much more food. I'm on a 1,500 calorie plan a day. I'm trying to chisel down. I'm trying to get lean. And so I usually eat between 1,500 and 2,000 calories a day. I got a little app that helps me keep track of it. I could take pictures of a barcode. I could search for it, punch it in. I have a little scale. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I got a little scale. I weigh my food. Yes, to eat clean, to eat healthy, you have to prepare a little bit. But I believe you'll actually end up saving money in the long run. So here's a few tips if you want to eat healthy. Tip number one, when you go to the grocery store, shop on the outside of the grocery store. Don't shop on the inside. The outside is where you're going to have all your fruits and veggies and your meats, all that kind of stuff. Don't shop on the inside. One of the great stores we have around here, we have a store called Aldi's. Man, I could get a big bag of sweet potatoes for $1.50. I can get wild-caught salmon, about 5 days worth, for $5-6. These are lean foods. I could get broccoli there. Aldi's is an awesome spot. But what you'll notice is if you're actually preparing your food, if you're planning even a little bit, you'll actually save way more money and feel way better than eating out, eating processed food. So tip number one, it's not about how much you're eating, but what you're eating. So eat more foods. Tip number two, when you go grocery shopping, shop on the outside of the grocery aisles. Eat the stuff that's green, eat the stuff that's alive, eat the lean meats. That's the stuff that's gonna make you feel good. The broccolis, the kales, all that kind of stuff. Tip number three is get active, do something. I talk a lot about Tabata. Yesterday, me and Zach went to the gym. We did our Tabata method. We did it for 30 minutes, and we ended up burning as many calories as we would have in an hour. If you don't know what Tabata is just a basic circuit training, high-intensity circuit training. It's not for everybody, but if you're in semi-decent shape, and you can handle it, it's basically 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off of whatever high intensity exercise you want to do, whether they're push-ups, jump rope, burpees, box jumps, whatever you can do. And the idea is you're combining strength training with cardio. And so you go 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You do that for 8 circuits, 4 minutes. You get a minute off, and then you do it again. So you do, there are 4 minutes and then you get a minute off. And so we did that for about 30 minutes and we burned so many calories. I got a little Apple Watch. I keep track of my calories. You can actually use that to build muscle, burn fat at the same time. You're gonna feel great, but just be careful with depending on where you're at with your body. In closing, guys, I just want you to know this. I want you to know, unless you have some type of thyroid issue, unless you have some type of medical condition, if you eat the right foods, if you get active, you can chisel your body and chisel yourself into whatever you want to look like. It's not right to fat shame anybody. But if you're not happy with the way you look, and we all got to figure out that baseline of happiness for ourselves. If you're not happy with the way you look, do something about it. Take responsibility. Eat more, work out, you'll feel better, you'll enjoy the foods you're eating, and you can get healthy. And for me, I'm trying to compound everything because I have very radical goals. My goals are different than your goals. I'm trying to get to a very low body fat percentage. I'm trying to get really, really dialed in. So I'm combining a bunch of different things. I'm doing paleo, Whole30, intermittent fasting. Sometimes I do 2-a-days. I have very specific goals. I'm trying to get somewhere specifically as quickly as I possibly can. I have different goals and I have more freedom because I'm self-employed. But when I wasn't self-employed, we would still get up. I remember me and my wife, we'd get up, we'd do Insanity. First thing in the morning, 8 in the morning, we'd get up, do Insanity. And we went through the whole thing twice, 3 times. We were eating shakes and smoothies. But I think the core issue that we're dealing with, whether it comes to addiction, whether it comes to food, is a lack of proper information and a lack of encouragement to take responsibility for whatever it is you're dealing with up into the capacity that you can. If you're able-bodied, if you're of sound mind, you don't have any thyroid issues, you don't have anything medically going on, you can chisel yourself. But here's the catch, here's the caveat. If you become leaner and you become thinner or whatever your goal is, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make you happy. It doesn't mean it's going to make your problems go away. So figure out what your goals are. Figure out how you want to look. Figure out what do you have to do to be comfortable with your shirt off in the house or looking in the mirror. What does that look like for you? That's what I want to hear from you guys in the comments section below, man. How are you dealing with this weight? Is this something you've struggled with? Is this something that's an issue for you? I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. I know I wasn't the heaviest guy, but man, this is something I've dealt with, and I think we're talking about it, and I think it's a good conversation to have. However, I think we need to put it out there with responsibility, with information that could help people actually eat more, feel better, be more active, live longer, and ultimately live up to our fullest God-given potential. So thank you so much for checking out this video. I appreciate you guys. Peace.
I can't keep you in check, so tell your mama about the tattoos up to your neck. Go wear a collar if it goes with the burgundy kids, and tell your father that you're nice.